We are going to discuss about demystifying karma, destiny and free will. Now this is the second session in this series. So we have already, probably a month ago or so, we started this topic and some of the points we have already covered. Let us see what you remember now. And there are few who are coming here for the first time. So for their benefits, you have to mention what we have covered in the first session. Yes, sir.
We have collected questions from everyone.
Yes. There were more than 50 questions you asked me. So I'm not sure whether I'm going to cover all of the answers in today's session. But I'm thinking most of the questions will get covered today. But if there are some which are remaining, if there is time left today, then you can ask those if you haven't received the answer to your question. Or we will take the third session to continue this demystification process. What else? That was a very simple thing, Prabhu. I know you wrote them down for me, so thank you very much for that. Looks like Kali Yuga memory is in action. No one remembers anything? That also shows how impactful my lecture was. Isn't it? At least save my face. At least one or two points you can remember and tell me. Yes, Shiva Prabhu.
Karma sometimes defined as an action, sometimes it can be defined as a reaction as well.
Very good. So we saw that word karma has many meanings, and different times when we use that in our day-to-day language, karma can actually mean many things. Sometimes we take the word karma as action. When we say that this is my karma, so I must do this. That means we are actually talking about some action that we have to do. Then sometimes we say that this is because of my past karma. That means we are talking about some reaction that is coming to us now. Sometimes we talk about action and reaction together, right? So when we say law of karma, where we are talking about action and reaction together. And sometimes we say that this is good karma. So that way we are referring to karma as the action which is giving us good reaction. And sometimes like that, the opposite of that is vikarma. Vikarma means the action which gives bad reaction. Right? So karma, this word can mean many different things. Okay, what else? Yes, Mataji.
It is important to know about karma so we make the right choices.
Oh, absolutely. Very good point, Mataji. Thank you very much. So why we should learn about karma? Why it is important? So what is karma? We discussed that there are 4 things. Then why should we know about karma? This is also very important. Why we are talking about this topic is because every action is going to give us some kind of reaction. So we have choice. When we are doing the activity, we have choice. If we do the activity in a particular way, we are going to get a different reaction. If you do the same in a different way, we are going to get a different reaction. So if we know that every activity is going to give us some reaction, then while doing that activity, we can choose properly. And that is why knowing about karma is very important. That today's karma that we are doing is defining your destiny for future. And the past karma that you have done is defining your destiny now. You cannot change your destiny now, but you can only choose what kind of activity we are doing now, so that our future is properly set. Okay? Then, what else did we see?
We saw law of karma.
Law of karma, yes. What is law of karma that we saw? What is law of karma, Prabhu?
For every action, there is an equal and opposite reaction.
Every action there is equal and opposite reaction. What else we covered?
I think God's law we can't break.
Yeah, it is God's law. It is a law that we are not able to break. It is like law of gravity. If you jump from a building, it is not going to say that this is a small child. Only if the adult jumps from the building, will break few bones. But if it is child, no. Child is like so cute, nice, small. They don't understand. If they are jumping, we will not break. No. Law of karma is universal. It is the law of God, and if you go against or if you do particular activity, you are going to get the reaction of it.
कानून को हम हाथ में नहीं ले सकते।
Mataji is firing a Hindi dialogue. We cannot take the law in our hand, right? It is Krishna's law and we have to obey the law. What else did we see? Yes, sir.
Prabhuji, we saw that animals are beyond the scope of karma.
Very good. And why is that?
Because humans have a choice and animals.
Very good. So humans have free will. So that is why the law of karma applies to humans. It is not applicable to animals. So we saw that if animals are eating non-vegetarian food, then they are not punished for it. Because they are not having a choice. We saw that the cow will always eat grass. In breakfast, lunch, dinner. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. She is happy to eat grass. She is not asking for variety. She is not asking the next day, "Arey, you are giving me grass for so many days. Give me pizza today. Give me some Chinese food." No. They are happy to eat grass every day for breakfast, lunch, dinner. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And for a lion, no matter how much you try to feed him grass, he is not going to eat that. He is always wanting to eat meat. So they don't have choice like that. They are not able to choose that I am going to eat grass or meat. That is why they are not applicable. So the law of karma is not applicable for them. But try giving khichdi to a human being for breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner, breakfast, lunch, dinner for a few days. Even one day, Prabhuji. What is going to happen?
Revolution.
Pasta he will want, right? Something different they will want. And we are always looking for some variety. We are looking for choice. That what can I do? Every activity we can do differently. We have this ability to think. The Lord has given us this higher intelligence by which we are able to make choices. And because we have given this opportunity to make choice, that is why we are also given this responsibility to make the right or wrong choice. And if we actually make the wrong choice, we have to actually get the reaction. What is that famous dialogue? Spider-Man's father, no, uncle. With great power comes great responsibility. Uncle Bill? Something like that. With great power comes great responsibility. So we have been given this power to make choice. Because we are given this power, we are also given the responsibility. If you make the wrong choice, we have to suffer the reaction. If you make the right choice, you progress further. Anything else you remember from law of karma?
We saw the 4 pillars of karma.
Yes, we saw 4 pillars of dharma. Okay, we are jumping ahead. Okay, so just to recap, law of karma, we saw the basic governing principle is as you sow, so shall you reap. And for every action, there is equal and opposite reaction. We can never break God's law. We can only break ourselves against the law. Then we saw that whenever we see some effect, then we know that there is some cause behind it. So the principle is that if you do some activity now, you are always, definitely, you can be sure that you are going to get some reaction for it in future. And similarly, whatever reactions you are facing now, you can be very, very sure that something has happened in the past, which is what you are getting the reaction for now. So if there is a cause, then there is going to be an effect. And you see effect, you should know that there was some cause for it. So sometimes we are thinking that why I am suffering now, or why I am actually enjoying now. I didn't do much, but I got a promotion at my work. But this other person was working so hard, he didn't get. And you never wonder like that. You always wonder the opposite way. Why I am working so hard and I did not get any promotion? But why this person who's not doing anything, he is getting promotion? Isn't it? It's because of some karma. So some reaction that is coming now. And also the law of karma is for training ourselves. So the Lord or Lord's energies are governing these laws so that we can be trained properly. Just like the parents are teaching our children. So parents are teaching the children in a way that if they do something good, they get a lolly. And the children know that, oh, if I want lolly, I have to do these things more and more. But if you do something wrong, then they get scolding. So they understand that, oh, this is something not I should be doing. So similarly, this is a training system for us. Then we saw further that animals are beyond its scope. Humans have a choice. It's like a crossroad. You can actually, the train can go here or there, different directions. Similarly, we have the ability to make choice and then can advance further or we can demote ourselves. We also saw that the laws are relative. The same joke again, it is not for relatives. It is for all of us. But laws are relative. It is based on time, place and circumstances. We saw the example that if a thief is going with a knife and he pokes that knife in somebody's stomach, then that's a bad thing. It's a bad karma. But a surgeon has a knife and he is poking that, obviously in the operation theatre properly, then that's a good karma. He's trying to help that patient. Right? So the action, if you see, it is looking the same. That a person is poking a knife in somebody else's stomach. But the consciousness is different. Someone is trying to get something out of or snatch something from the other person, and one is trying to help the other person. So it is not about the activity itself, it is the consciousness that matters. Then we also saw that even if there is consciousness that matters, it is not the activity, but there are certain actions which are always considered bad karma. They are always going to give you bad reaction. And we saw that there are 4 such activities which are meat eating, illicit sex, intoxication and gambling. These 4 activities will always give us bad reactions. And that is where then we were seeing that why these 4 activities are separated out. Because they are breaking the principles of religion. There are 4 pillars on which the dharma or religion is standing. And what are those 4 pillars? Mercy, truthfulness, cleanliness and austerity. These are the 4 pillars on which dharma is standing. And with each of these activity, one of the pillars is getting broken. So we saw that meat eating is breaking the principle of, or the pillar of mercy. Gambling is breaking the principle of truthfulness, or the pillar of truthfulness. Illicit sex is breaking the pillar of cleanliness, and intoxication is breaking the pillar of austerity. And we also saw there were many stories or examples that we talked about by which we can understand this law of karma. So today, I think this is where we stopped last week. So today we are going to talk about reactions and how we can understand the reactions of the karma. And again, I'm not going to give you a guide that if you do this, then you are going to get this reaction. If you do that reaction, then you are going to get some other reaction. Now we are going to discuss about the principles again of reactions. We saw some principles of law of karma. Now we are going to look at some principles around how we can understand what reactions we are going to get. So this is what we are going to talk today. So the first principle that we have to understand is it is very difficult to understand the reactions. If you understand this, then we will not worry about that this particular thing which is happening in my life. What was the action because of which I am trying to get it? Currently I am getting this reaction. It is very difficult to correlate these actions and reactions. Sometimes it is very easy. You are going on the street and you suddenly go and slap someone and he slaps you back. So you know what was the action and what was the reaction. Or you eat some street food. In Mumbai you go and eat some pani puri on the street. Next day your stomach is going to get upset for sure. So you know when the next day the stomach is upset, you know what was the action that you have taken because of which you are having this reaction. So sometimes it is very easy to correlate between the action and reaction. But many times it is not that easy. And that is the time when we start wondering, why I am suffering now? What was the action that I have done because of which I am suffering now? So if you understand that it is not very straightforward, it will not be easy for us to understand. There are multitude of factors which are considered when we get some reaction. And that is why Krishna says in the 4th chapter, 17th verse, he says, Gahana Karmano Gati. That he is saying that the intricacies of the action and reaction is very, very difficult to understand. If the Lord Krishna is saying that the intricacies of action and reaction is difficult to understand, then what to speak of all of us? That it is very difficult to understand for all of us. So we have discussed some time ago this example of Dhritarashtra, why he was suffering. So quickly we'll talk about the story that once after the war of Mahabharata, Dhritarashtra was thinking that I had 100 sons. Now it is very difficult to get 1 or 2. Now he had 100 sons and all of them died in the war. So he was wondering, what was the action that I have done because of which I have to suffer this reaction where my 100 children are dead now? So of course he knows, Krishna would know, so he's asking Lord Krishna. He's saying that with my yogic power I can remember my 50 lives. And I can't see any action that I have done in my last 50 lives because of which I should be suffering this reaction where my 100 children are dead. Krishna says, okay, you only remember 50. I'll tell you what happened in the 51st life in the past. So he said at that time you were a hunter. And as a hunter you were trying to kill a bird. But somehow or the other you only could blind a bird. The father bird, you blinded him. And then the bird actually ran away. The bird flew away. So you were very angry. So you lit a fire and there was his nest, the bird's nest. You threw that nest into this fire and there were 100 birdlets inside that nest and all 100 died. So you are getting reaction of that action now. So he said, but why you waited for 51 lifetimes to give me the reaction? Why did you not give me the reaction immediately? Or in the last 50 lives? He said, Lord Krishna said, that to actually feel the pain that that the bird was feeling, you have to actually have 100 sons. And it is not easy to get 100 sons. You have to do a lot of pious activity for getting it. And that is why you did those pious activities in last 50 lifetimes to accumulate enough good reactions so that in this lifetime you can get 100 sons. But at the same time, because you had done that past action of killing those 100 birdlets, that's why you are getting the reaction of killing them, or they are all murdered. In the war, they were all killed. So this is how it is very, very intricate. That is why it is very difficult to understand how the actions and reactions are working. And last time we were also talking about, just by looking at this, that we should be very, very cautious when we are eating our food. So, just Dhritarashtra in his 51st lifetime in the past, he killed a bird, like 100 birds, and that is why he has got this reaction. But how many birds we are killing nowadays? How many animals we are killing? Chicken is a bird, right? So how many chickens we are killing? How many animals we are killing? And then they are killed just for our pleasure, for the pleasure of our tongue. What kind of reactions we are going to get? We have to understand that. And by understanding it, we can make the right choice, at least in the future. We can't change the past. Whatever we have done, we can't change it. But at least for the future, we should decide what kind of actions we are going to take. And that is how we can guide ourselves and make progress. And of course, if we keep chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, your past reactions will be forgiven. But that is not applicable if you keep doing some sinful actions, and chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, it will not clean those reactions. So they are very, very intricate to understand which action is causing which reaction in our life. But we should understand that no matter how we are doing that action, whether anyone has watched it or not, anyone has seen you doing that action or not, Krishna is watching, and you are definitely going to get the reaction. There was one baker. He was wondering, he was actually always buying some brick of butter from a farmer. And he started doubting that this farmer is cheating me. He is giving me 1 kilo, I am buying 1 kilo of butter from him, but I think that he's cheating me and he's giving me only like less than 1 kilo. So he started monitoring. Whenever he will buy that butter, he will go home and he will weigh it and he will say, oh, instead of 1 kilo, I only got 900 grams. Sometimes 950, sometimes 850, like that. He was getting less, 850, 900, like that grams he was getting. He was not getting full 1 kilo of butter. And he was really annoyed. He watched it for a few days, thinking that it was just 1 or 2 days he's doing, but then he saw that for a long time it is happening, so he complained to the police. And then he got this farmer arrested for cheating him. So the case went to the judge, and the judge asked the farmer, hey, you are selling this butter, do you not have a weighing scale? The farmer said, no. He said, you don't have a weighing scale. So how are you making sure that you are giving 1 kilo butter to this baker? He said, I don't have a weighing scale, but I have a weighing balance. And the simple thing I do is every day I buy 1 kilo of bread from this baker. I put it on the one side of my balance and I weigh the butter on the other side. So I am buying 1 kilo of bread and I am selling 1 kilo of butter. So I am using that as a weight and I am giving him the butter. As simple as that. So do you see how the reactions you get? So if you try to cheat someone, just understand that you are going to get the reaction back. It will not be easy. Krishna is watching everything. Then another principle that we should understand is sometimes you will get the reaction instantly and sometimes you will get delayed reaction. So just like when you are sowing mustard seeds, how many days does it take to get the mustards? Any farmers here or gardeners? Yes, bro?
Sprouting is like...
No, I want the mustards back, mustard seeds. After the mustard is sown.
I didn't have that much patience to see. It takes quite
2 months.
Few weeks, at around 3 months. After you have sown mustard seeds, within 3 months you will get the fruits of your activity. But what about coconut? How many years do you take?
More than 5 years.
More than 5 years. Almost 8 to 10 years it takes, depending on the variety of coconut that you are planting. So it may take 8 to 10 years to get the fruit. So if you start smoking cigarette today, I'm not recommending you do it. But if someone starts doing it, then it may take many years before his lungs will be damaged. He may get some cancer. After many years it will get. But as we were seeing these other examples, you eat something on the street, like some street food you are eating, immediately the next day you are getting some reaction. So some activities gives you instant reaction, some activities give you delayed reaction. Which one is better? What do you think?
None.
Instant? Finish it off. Just clear the account. Any other viewpoints?
None are good.
Just instant is better. You know why it is. You are facing that reaction.
You know what has caused it, so instant is better. Prabhuji is saying none of them are better. Instant bhi nahi chahiye. He doesn't want instant as well. He doesn't want delayed reaction as well. Any supporters of delayed reactions? No? No one wants delayed reactions? You want instantly, everything immediately you want. Anyone? Come on. You want delayed reactions, bro?
Kind of.
Kind of. Why?
It's one way it's good that at least if you are getting a bad reaction, let's say like the example you want to give about smoking. If I take first cigarette and then suddenly you get cancer, then you don't have time to react and realize the problem. If you are talking about after 10 years or 15 years, you are getting at least one day or the other you will understand that I am.
Very good.
Come out of it.
Excellent. Very good point. Actually, the delayed reactions are better because you get some time to change in between. If you immediately start getting reactions of everything that you are doing, then it is so difficult. But if you actually get some time that you have done some activity and there is a time in between, time gap, there is a possibility that you can change your ways. There is a possibility of reform. There is a possibility that you can make some right choices. There is a possibility that you can start chanting the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra and you don't even have to suffer the reaction. If it was all instant reactions, then what are you going to clean with the detergent, the best detergent I'm giving you? Right? So it is better from our perspective to not actually get the reactions immediately. It is like credit card. You don't have to pay immediately. But finally you have to pay. There is no one who is coming in between to wipe your credit card balance. But here there is a possibility that you can wipe the credit card or your karma balance. Only if there was some time in between. And more the time, it is better. Of course, instant reaction, the benefit is that you immediately know what kind of action is getting some reaction. And that is why Krishna gives you both. Some activities he gives you reaction immediately so that you understand that if you do activity like this, you are going to get reaction like this. So some good activities, he will give good reactions quickly. Some bad activities, he will give bad reactions quickly. So that you understand that there is law of karma which is acting on all of us so that we can make right choices. But for most of our activities, he will give delayed reactions so that he gives the opportunity for us to reform so that we can change. So it is his mercy on us. It is his kripa on us that we are getting this delayed reaction sometimes. Then another principle is, it is first in, first out principle. So many times we wonder that why sometimes the good people are suffering. So this is what we will understand from that principle we can understand from this point. So this is a silo. Like those who know, like in villages, they used to have these huge containers, and from the top they will put the grains. From top they will put the grains, and they will have a small tap down here so that they can take out the grains. So these are the silos. The big silos would be there so that they can store the grains properly. Now imagine 2 years ago you were very lazy and you did not actually do hard work, and you are growing some rice, but it was not a very good quality. You did not pay much attention, so the quality of the rice that came was not very good. So you put from top that bad quality rice. Last year as well you did the same thing. You are lazy, again bad quality rice came. So again some rice is there here which is again bad quality. But this year you realize that 2 years I have been very lazy and I didn't take proper effort. So this year you were very diligent. So this time you got the good seeds, you took care of your rice crop properly, and whatever watering and whatever needs to be done, it was all done properly. And this time it was very beautiful, very wonderful, fragrant rice that you have grown. And that is the rice you are putting from top. Now your son, who's watching, that you are putting some wonderful rice from top. And then he sees mother is taking some rice from here. And he is shocked. He is wondering, "Arey, what kind of machine is this? My father is putting good quality rice from here, and from the bottom you are getting bad quality rice." And he starts blaming this machine, that this barrel is not very good, this silo is not very good. You put good thing from top and bad things come out from here. What do you think? Is that the fault of this silo? What is the problem? So that small child doesn't understand what has happened in the past. He's just looking at this point in time. You are putting something from top, and you are getting something from here. He doesn't know what you have done in the last 2 years. So if he knew that, oh, last year my father did not do good job, that is why he is getting this bad rice from here. If he knew that, then he wouldn't be confused. So this is what happens when we actually say and we complain that I am doing all good activities, but why suffering is coming to me? It is like you are saying, I am putting all good rice, but why I am getting bad rice now? It is because you are getting bad rice now because you have done bad activities in the past. So you are suffering the reactions of your own activities from past. That is why that suffering is coming to you. It has nothing to do with your good activities now. You are doing good activities now, that means you are going to get good rice in future. Slowly this this bad rice is going to finish, and you are going to get this good rice also. At that time, you may be putting bad rice from top. And you will be saying, the child will be saying, my father is putting bad rice from top, but he is getting wonderful rice. And that is what we say sometimes, that this person is such a bad, horrible person. But look at him, he is enjoying. He has everything. All the material opulences that the good person doesn't have, he has now. How is that happening? It is like saying that he is putting bad activities from the top, and why he is getting good reactions from the bottom. It is because he has done some good activities in the past. That is why he is enjoying now. But rest assured, if he is doing bad activities now, what is going to happen? Sooner or later he is going to get the reactions of those activities. So we need to understand that it is not that the good people are suffering and bad people are enjoying. Sometimes you will see like that is happening in the world because the good person that you are actually watching now is suffering the reactions of his past bad karma, and he is going to also get the reactions of his good karma afterwards. So we don't have to worry about that why this person is enjoying and why I am suffering. We are suffering our own reactions. There is no possibility. It is said that I think last time as well when we were discussing, we talked about that if there are 10,000 cows and a calf is left into those cows, so the calf is not going to get confused that, oh, which one is my mother? This cow is my mother, or that cow is my mother? No, the calf knows exactly out of all those same looking cows which one is his mother, and the calf will exactly go to that cow. Similarly, the reactions are like that calf. They will not get confused. Should I go to Mantrabulam Prabhu or Kirtihanta Prabhu? They will know where to go. They will go exactly where they are supposed to go. So we don't have to worry about why by mistake. Krishna, were you not watching when you were giving these reactions? They were supposed to go to that person. By mistake you put it on me? No, it doesn't happen. Our reactions, we are going to enjoy or suffer. Somebody else's reactions, they are going to enjoy or suffer. Another principle sometimes we see that, okay, I can understand that I have to enjoy or suffer my own reaction. But sometimes some bad reactions happen and many people die or many people suffer. Like some plane accident happens, or there was tsunami and there thousands of people died together. So what happened there then? Are you saying that everyone had done some karma and because of that they are dying? Why was Krishna missing out on something, that he was not watching and somehow or other this disaster happened and 100,000 people died? Like when that tsunami happened many years ago, because of that earthquake which was near Indonesia that happened, of 9.0, that kind of earthquake happened, and then tsunami came to many countries around that area, in Asian countries, and many people died. It said I think more than 100,000 people died in that tsunami. So what happened there? Or sometimes the aeroplane gets crashed, or even 9/11 in America, those 2 towers collapsed because the terrorist attacked, and so many people died there as well. So how come the reaction was supposed to go to that individual person? How come hundreds and thousands of people got reaction together? What is the possibility? What could have happened there?
Because of their past karma. So
those 100,000 people did the same karma?
Similar. So they should get reacted. So they all put together and gave reaction.
And by mistake, if someone was there in that building in 9/11 or in that aeroplane,
Yeah, if something like that happens, Krishna will make sure he's not there.
He is
There are
not
many,
there.
Yes, there are many examples like
many
that.
examples like that.
So just like Dhritarashtra had to wait for 51
Lifetimes.
for this to happen, these guys probably waited for a few million, so that the circumstances made sure that all of them are there at that time.
Okay. So you are not worried that Krishna was making some mistake? He was putting some wrong people together? Because in an aeroplane there are many people, right? 500 sometimes. There are big planes, 500, 600 people are there in. So you are thinking that Krishna chose properly that each individual who is going in that plane and the plane is going to get crashed, all those 500 people were supposed to die and they were going to get the reaction. Is it possible that 499 were correct and one person maybe he was by mistake, he just went there? No? Law of karma is very accurate? Okay. If you say so.
I believe so.
Yeah, that's right. There were many cases, like when that 9/11 happened, there were many situations or many people who spoke about how they were saved. And there are situations where a person got fired from a job just a day before. He was supposed to actually go to that office in the Twin Towers, but he was fired the day before. And if he was not fired the day before, he would have been in that office on that day and he would have died. And on the day before, you would have thought, you can just imagine what he would be thinking. That, oh God, why I was fired? Are you there or not? And the next day when he heard this, what he would be saying? Oh God, you are so merciful, you saved me. So many times we don't know the plans of the Lord, and then we start blaming for whatever is happening. There are situations where this person got delayed, and he was delayed by 10-15 minutes, and because of that he saw this happening in front of him. If he was not delayed, he was not late to office, he would have been killed. This tsunami as well, there was this news article which came that there were some tourists and they went to Bali, or actually some other island close to there. In that news article it was mentioned. And this couple from US went to that place and the tsunami happened at that time. But interestingly, they were scuba diving at that time. So they were closest to the water. The water which killed thousands of people, they were closest to that water, but they were inside the water. And when this tsunami came, they were inside the water, they did not even understand what is happening on top. After some time, when they came out of the water, they saw lots of, like hundreds of bodies floating on the water in the ocean. And they were confused, what happened? When they went inside the water, it was like heaven. When they came out of water, it was hell. The entire island was destroyed. All the buildings, all the people were destroyed. But these two people were saved. So if you are not part of the reaction that you are not supposed to get that reaction, Krishna will make sure that you are saved. There are many situations, like recently as well, I was reading a news that some children, like a plane crashed, everyone died, but there were 4 children who were alive, they were found alive in Amazon forest after 40 days, where lots of animals are there. So can you imagine, 40 days they survived inside the forest where there are lots of animals. They actually survived the crash first, where their parents died. The pilot, everyone died, only the 4 children survived. And not only they survived the plane crash, they survived from animals, from hunger, water, whatever. They survived for 40 days. Yes, Prabhu.
Actually, I want to ask that question.
You want to ask a question? Go ahead, Prabhu.
Same question only. So it's happened on the 2nd of May and first week of June that plane has crashed, we have been forced to, kids has been survived. I mean, how we need to understand that? Among the 4 kids, 1 kid is only 11 months old.
Yeah.
It was like...
So how you can understand is their time wasn't come. So they were supposed to get, like their parents were supposed to get a reaction. They were also supposed to get some reaction of being stranded in the forest for some time. But they were not supposed to get the reaction of facing death at that point in time. So Krishna protected them. But still, they had to actually get some reaction. And they are going to actually suffer some more reaction because their parents are now gone. So there will be some other kind of reaction that is waiting for them. But the reaction of death was not in their destiny at that point in time. So they didn't get it. So here we can understand that sometimes the reactions are so many, like we have, as we were saying, that each one of us could see the reactions that we have accumulated. It would have been a long or huge tower. So we have accumulated so many reactions. And sometimes the material nature is trying to give the reactions in wholesale. So then they put all these people together where they were supposed to face the reaction, and they give the justice at the same time. So that is how we should understand it. It is very accurate, it is precise, it is accurate. It will not by mistake go here and there. Then another important principle that we should understand about reactions is about the good and bad reactions. If you do 2 bad activities and if you do 5 good activities, what is the result you are going to get? What is the result you are expecting?
5 minus 2, 3 to karma.
3, right? Yes, bro.
No.
You get 2 bad karma effect and 5 good karma separate.
This is really, really bad, Mataji.
I know, sir.
Accounting principle is credit and debit, right? You credited 5 good in Krishna's law of karma account, and you deducted 2. What you should get?
It's credit and credit good. 2 good and 2 bad and 5 good.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this credit and debit doesn't work like that. It is credit and credit. So if you do 2 bad activities and 5 good activities, then the result is not the 3 good reactions you are going to get. When you do 2 bad activities, 2 bad reactions are deposited, a credit of 2 bad reactions. If you do 5 good activities, credit of 5 good reactions. So total you have balance of 7 reactions. They don't cancel each other. So the principle is the good reaction and bad reaction don't cancel each other. Don't try that. That you have done some sinful activities, let's try to do some good activity so that it will balance it out. No, it doesn't work like that. You are accumulating good and bad reactions together. So you are accumulating the balance. So that is important principle to understand. Then another important principle to understand for reactions is ignorance is not an excuse. Look at this cartoon. So this judge is saying ignorance of the law is no excuse, and this person is saying, I didn't even know that either. So ignorance of the law is not an excuse. We cannot say, Arey, you are saying about law of karma, but I never read Bhagavad Gita. I never understood that there is law of karma exists. So I should be excused from it. Or it may be for just the people in India who knows about the law of karma. So they will be actually getting this law of karma applicable is only for them. And the reactions are only going to them. We are Kiwis. We are American. We don't believe in law of karma. So that means the reactions are not coming to us. It doesn't work like that. Just like law of gravity, it works in India, it works in New Zealand, it works in Australia, it works in America. So the reactions of law of gravity is common everywhere. Similarly, law of karma as well, we are going to get reactions anywhere and everywhere. And ignorance of the law is not going to help us. So it is our responsibility to understand the law so that we can make right choices. So one of the questions which was asked in the previous session was why some people are ignorant and they are not aware of this knowledge, and why some people are aware of this knowledge. What is the answer? What do you think is the answer? Why some people are ignorant at this point in time, and why some people are knowledgeable at this point in time? And those knowledgeable people are able to read Bhagavad Gita, able to read Srimad Bhagavatam, or able to read other scriptures by which they will understand that there is this action and reaction that is there, so I should actually choose properly when I am doing my activities. Yes, Mukesh Prabhu.
Karma itself is the answer. Choices they've made in the past life, they've donated knowledge, intelligence, they will be receiving knowledge and intelligence.
Yeah, very good. Any other?
The desires, they have an internal desire to learn, so that is manifesting.
So someone had a desire to learn, that is why it is manifesting now. Yes, Mataji?
I think everyone has a free will as well, which we discussed, like God.
Everyone has free will.
Law is there, but it's for us. We want to know it and follow it, we do. But if we don't, then we have to take the
So by free will, they are ignorant, or so it is same as this answer, which was some people have that desire. Using their free will, they are trying to have the desire of learning and not learning. Any other comments?
Krishna's causeless mercy.
Oh, it is Krishna's mercy. But that makes him Krishna a biased person. So he is deciding, Sudhanma Prabhu, I am suddenly giving him mercy. Like you go to a judge, and judge is in good mood today. So anyone who comes in front of him, he says that no matter what crime he has done, I am going to set them free. If he is in better mood, no matter what crime he has done, he is going to give them reward as well. And if he is in bad mood, then no matter whether they were really guilty or not, they are all going to go into the jail. So if Krishna tries to implement law of karma like that, some people he is biased and he is giving mercy. There is some bias towards devotees, but that is after you become devotees. But in the beginning, he is not biased. He is not giving this mercy just like that to some people and not to some people. He gives the opportunity to everyone.
Sadhu Sangha.
Sadhu Sangha, so they are associating with some devotees, that's why they are getting. Okay.
Time hasn't come.
Time hasn't come. Especially Indians. I hear this quite a lot. Sometimes when we actually ask them, when we meet someone and we say that, please come to the programs, they say, Prabhuji, my time hasn't come. Or they will say, I am coming, but this person is not coming because their time hasn't come. Arey, what time hasn't come? They do not have the desire. They are not creating this desire. They are using their free will to decide not to do or do something. So, this time hasn't come is a lame excuse for saying that I don't want to go. Yes.
Anyada Sukriti, like we would have unknowingly done something good for which the reaction is coming, like though we get the knowledge about.
Yeah. Agyata Sukruti, that unknowingly you have done some good karma and that's why you are getting. Now, very good points. Actually, it's a combination of all of that. But main reason why you are in ignorance at this point in time is because of the past karma that we have done. So when we actually do our activities, you are making a choice. And each activity you are making a choice about, that is actually making a difference in your consciousness. So how that works is, there are 3 modes of material nature. So mode of goodness, mode of passion and mode of ignorance. Sattva gun, rajogun and tamogun. So when you are doing an activity, you have a choice. Whether you are doing that activity in goodness, passion or ignorance. The same activity you can do in 3 different modes, actually 4. Goodness, passion, ignorance and transcendental mode, which is pure goodness. But for simplicity, let's say 3 choices that we have, goodness, passion, ignorance. If you choose while doing the activity that you have chosen to act in mode of passion, not only you get the reaction for that, but it also builds mode of passion in you. So similarly, if you do activities more and more in mode of ignorance, then you are building mode of ignorance within you. And that mode of ignorance is carried forward in your next life as well. And then you have to actually change again from there. From mode of ignorance as well, you can go to goodness. It is not that you cannot, once you are in ignorance, you are in ignorance. It is not like that. You can make progress from there as well. But you have to take effort. So when you see that some people are getting this knowledge in this lifetime and some are not getting, is because the choices that they have made in the past. But Krishna is very wonderful. Even those people who are in ignorance, he gives them opportunity at least once and sometimes more times in each lifetime so that they can go towards him. He will make that opportunity available even to the worst of the people. He will give that opportunity because he is very merciful, he is kind. He is like our father. He is very kind father. He is not like a strict judge. Strict judge is done. This is it. But loving father, they will want to correct us. So that's why they will sometimes punish, sometimes reward. But at the same time, they have this love for us. So they will give the opportunity to reform. And even the worst of the people who have done various previous bad activities, they will also be getting some opportunity in this lifetime to go closer to Krishna. So ignorance is a consequence of our past actions. It is not that just randomly it is given or the time hasn't come or whatever like that. It is by our past actions it has happened. So some of these now, so I have covered most of the principles of reactions. And I'm going to cover some of the questions which were asked in the first session. And there are more principles that we will talk about law of karma from there. But are there any specific questions on the reactions part that we have talked about?
When you talk about the collective karma, like when you say like, because people all have done similar type of karma, they have to go through that. But from the outside point of view, outside person who is not affected by the when we look at them, we feel like, oh, it's their karma. That's not a good way of looking at it. Like,
Oh, very good point. Excellent. So if say suppose 100,000 people are dying in tsunami and someone asks you as a devotee, Prabhu or Mataji, these 100,000 people have died in tsunami. And you say, Arey, they were all sinful people. They just died. Don't worry about it. Is that the right reaction? What should we actually do in such situation?
Show empathy and compassion.
Show empathy and compassion? But they are sinful, na Prabhu. That's why they have got their reaction.
They worry about the karma, we worry about what our dharma is.
Oh, very good. So Prabhuji is saying they worry about their karma, but we should look at what is our dharma. So that is absolutely the answer. So when something is happening to us, this law of karma principle that we are understanding, so that we can understand and apply that to ourselves. It is not for applying to other people. So many times when we are talking about tolerance or humility, we immediately start expecting that from other people. Hey, did you not attend Prabhuji's lecture last week? He was talking about tolerance. When are you going to develop tolerance? When are you going to develop, Mataji, some humility? Know that Prabhuji was giving lecture for me. Each one of us should be thinking that these changes have to happen in myself. Law of karma, these principles that I should actually apply to myself. When something is happening to me, then I should understand that it is not because of some random thing I am getting this reaction. It is because of my own past activity I am suffering or enjoying now. But when we see someone else is suffering, at that time law of karma we should not bring law of karma there. You should see how we can help them. What is our dharma at this point in time? We should be compassionate. Compassion is one of the qualities of devotee. So we should show compassion and we should see how we can help them. And that is our dharma, to help others. So that is what we should be doing at that point in time. Right? Good. Any other questions about reactions?
In the accidents that we discussed, the persons who are dying, so they are immediately getting their reaction, whatever the past karma. But their family members has to suffer a lot for longer duration.
Yeah.
So who is getting more reaction there?
Yeah, good question. So someone who is dying in like in individual situation or even in collective situation like this, the people who are dying, they have finished, like their reaction they have got. But what about the other people who are left behind, like their family members? Sometimes they don't die. For example, there's example of these 4 children that we are talking about. Now they have lost their parents. So who's suffering more? The person who has died or the person who are left behind? Actually, the reactions that we get, we get it through the 3 different ways. The threefold miseries, we call it. That is Adhyatmika misery, Adhibhautika misery, and Adidaivika misery. Adhyatmika misery, which is the reactions which we are getting from our own body and mind. So sometimes we feel depressed, sometimes there is stress, there is anxiety, or sometimes we make wrong choices, like we are smoking or whatever, so we are damaging our own body. So that is Adhyatmika misery. We are causing that damage ourselves. Then there is Adhibhautika misery. Adhibhautika misery means the miseries or sufferings which are coming from the living entities around us. Around us. I'm not pointing to you. But sometimes we get our miseries, suppose some mosquito is biting us, or at office sometimes the manager is scolding us for or not appreciating our work, or sometimes at home the spouse is not behaving properly, or the children is not helping, or children are causing some trouble, or anything like the terrorists are attacking, or all these sufferings which are coming because of other people or other living entities around us, that is Adhibhautika misery. And then the third one is the Adidaivika misery. Adidaivika misery means like these natural disturbances which happen, like earthquakes happen in New Zealand, or there are some forest fire which are happening in Australia, or there are volcanoes erupting, or there are many other problems which are coming like that. And because of that, the suffering which is coming, that is Adidaivika misery. All these are ways for material nature to give the reactions which was due to us. So sometimes we are getting the misery because of this natural calamity, which is tsunami that happened and someone has died, but someone has left behind. They are getting adibhotika misery because they are going to suffer because the people around them. But it is the reaction of our own karma. It is our own action from the past which somehow or the other has fructified now, and that is how we are getting the reaction at this point in time. Is that making sense? Yes. There are 10 more minutes. Announcements. I will give opportunity for more questions. Anamani said, don't go ahead. So we will continue this topic in the third session. But now 10 minutes are there. I can take two, three more questions. On law of karma, demystifying. We haven't even talked about destiny properly and free will yet. So destiny and free will topics are still remaining. We have only talked about karma, law of karma, reactions. What are the principles of reactions? So more about, little bit we have covered about destiny and little bit about free will, but more on that we'll talk next week. But are there any questions? Are there any on Zoom?
Week after.
Okay. Yes, brother.
If I go this theory like the Mars, like how the tsunami and these things affected those who are destined or got their reaction. So somehow we are giving permission to the terrorists to attack, mass murder, and the people who were innocent, they are also getting impacted over that. So
Oh, very good question. Very good question. So are we saying that the terrorists who are attacking, or example, this 9/11 attack that happened was done by terrorists, are we actually saying that this was law of karma and in a way we are justifying their activities? Did we justify anywhere the terrorist activity? What did we say? Any bad activity that they are doing, they are going to get the reaction. And it is quite interesting. For example, if a person kills one person, if one person kills or murders another person, so where the capital punishment is allowed, like in some countries the capital punishment is allowed, like in India. So the law gives them the punishment that okay, you are going to be killed because you have killed one person. So you would say that he has got the reaction, right? That he killed one person and he has got killed now, so he has got the reaction. But suppose the terrorist killed 100 people. Suppose still he is caught and then he is killed by the law punishment of the law. Is that still fair? 100 people he has killed and he has only suffered the reaction by just taking away his life only once. So he has still the balance of 99 lifetimes that he has to still sacrifice. So any terrorists who are doing this bad activity, they are doing the reaction, they are accumulating their reactions now. So we are not justifying or condoning that, okay, arey, acha hua, you have be the instrument of Maya, and that is how we are doing this. Sometimes people say like this as well, that I am eating this chicken because possibly this chicken has eaten me last life. So I am giving the reaction. No, the cycle goes like this. If you are eating chicken now, it is possible that in the next life you will become chicken, and this chicken will become a human being, and this human being will get an opportunity to eat you. But the human being is not forced to eat the chicken. The human being still has the choice. If the human being decides at that point in time that I don't want to eat chicken, You don't have to be forced to give the reaction to the chicken. Maya or material energy has many other ways to give the reaction to that chicken. So you don't have to become the instrument to give the reaction. You can be free. You can make the choice, the right choice, and you can say that I don't want to eat this chicken anymore. And you don't have to worry that I'm making this or breaking this justice system. No, Maya has different way to give the reaction to that human being who ate the chicken before. So anytime when we see something bad is happening, we should understand that this person is going to get the reaction of that bad activity. But the person who's getting the reaction, his consciousness should be that I have got the reaction for my own past karma. The person who's giving the reaction should not be thinking that I am giving the reaction of his reaction or his past activity. Are you seeing the difference? Even if you were that person who were chicken before and were eaten, if you do that activity, the cycle will continue. Chicken will eat you, then you will eat the chicken will eat you, then you will eat the chicken. Unless and until you have that consciousness of coming out of that cycle, you will still go around, round and round, round and round, and you will remain in this world. So somehow or other we have to break that cycle. So we have to make that choice. The terrorist is making the wrong choice, and they are going to get the reaction themselves. So there is no doubt about that. We are not saying that they are doing some good activity. By helping Krishna give the reaction to someone, that is not considered good activity.
And if I add on one thing more than this, to understand complete, like as we studied today, like if you chant name of holy name, so your past karma will be resolved.
Yeah.
If the next life, the same terrorist, if we started spiritual activity chanting them, so what about the 90?
Right. Good question. So this terrorist who has got killed now, he has still the balance of 99 times he was supposed to be killed. Now suppose suddenly he comes in contact with a devotee. He meets Krishnaloka Mataji on the street and he gets a Bhagavad Gita and comes in association with her and he becomes a devotee. What happens to him? What do you think?
It's nullified. If he is forgiven, then it's not justice to them who gave him back.
It's not justice. Prabhuji is saying that if he is forgiven, then it is not justice to the 99 people who are still waiting. Any other thoughts on this situation? Yes.
I think in the next year holy name we studied like even what we are going to do, the future and past, everything is nullified.
Yes.
So that is the effect of holy name. So once he has realized his mistake and asked for pardon, so Krishna is all merciful. He will just.
Mataji is very merciful, like Krishna. She is saying that he should be forgiven. He had chanted now the holy name.
See, even if in the current jail system when you go, when a murderer gets, say, life sentence, they still get parole. They get opportunity for parole for good behavior. Their sentence can be reduced. So it's a little bit like that.
So Prabhuji is saying that even in our normal justice system, so suppose someone has killed someone and there they are not allowing the capital punishment, so they may be actually given a life term. So 25 years in the jail. But if you see that he is behaving properly, the sentence may be reduced from 25 years. Maybe after 10-15 years he is allowed to be free if he is behaving properly in the jail. Now the person who has done that activity of killing someone, he has got the reaction of going in jail for 25 years. But while in jail, he still had choice what he is doing. So while you are inside the jail, you can create havoc there as well, and you will suffer more. You will be pushed inside the worst part of the jail. And if you are actually behaving properly, then there is a possibility that you will get the opportunity to go scot-free early. Similarly, in this situation, when suppose a terrorist becomes a devotee and he is chanting, and if he becomes very purified by just chanting of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra in that lifetime, he will be forgiven all the other previous reactions of his activity. And how it is okay is because from the perspective, if you start understanding the law of karma is not mainly for punishment. Law of karma is mainly for reformation. Just like a father or a mother or the parents, they are training their children, and they are giving that lolly when they are doing some good activity and scolding when they are doing some bad activity. That lolly and scolding is mainly not for their punishment. Mainly it is for reformation. So as soon as Krishna sees that someone is getting reformed, there is no need for giving that punishment further. Because what was the idea of punishment? Why the jailing system, like even in the material world, they reduce the sentences. Why? Because the idea of the sentence was for their reformation. If they are corrected and they see that there is no point of this person remaining in the jail, he has understood his mistake, he has been reformed, he is not going to do anything like this when he is freed. So similarly, if this terrorist becomes a devotee, he chants the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, all his sins are gone away, and he goes back to Godhead. And he doesn't have to worry about the 99 remaining reactions that he has. Because if we have to actually enjoy or suffer all the reactions that we have accumulated, we'll be here permanently. There is no possibility of we going back. Because while we are actually enjoying or suffering, we'll create more, then we will remain here, then we'll create more, then we will remain here. The only way of finishing this balance is what we are going to discuss next week.
Last question. It's not a question, bro. It's just to add.
Okay, yes, Prabhu.
So these 100 people who have died, maybe they have accumulated some karma, and because of that, their reactions, they died. So it's not that because the terrorist killed them and they died. Right? So it could be because of their karma. So it's not like a justice.
While they are getting like when somebody is suffering, they are of course getting their own reaction, but the terrorist is also creating their own reaction. So we have to understand that as well, and he has to also go through that reformation process or suffer the reaction. Okay, one last point and we are finishing today.
Just a question, when we talk about killing and eating meat, how is that different to eating a vegetable? Because we're still taking life in both sides of things, right? Even an
Okay, how is killing vegetables, like when we are somebody saying that to be vegetarian, and how killing an animal, because both have souls, both have life, why it is different and why we are getting enough like reaction when we are talking about meat, we are getting reaction, when we are killing the plants we are not getting reactions. Actually you get reactions in both situations, but the reactions are different. It is because for the simple reason that I have given this example before as well. So suppose your children come home and they say that, oh father, my school is taking me for a picnic. And you say, where your teacher are going to take you for a picnic? No, they are taking me to slaughterhouse. They are going to show us how the animals are killed. Will you be happy? No, why? Why you are not happy? You know it is bad?
My child should not learn that.
Your child, you don't want them to see this activity and learn from it? What else? Yeah, there is more suffering. There is a lot of suffering that is there when the animals are killed. They are going through a lot of suffering. And that pain and suffering that you can see, and that is why you don't want your children to actually see that pain and suffering. It is said by someone that if the slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegetarian. If the slaughterhouses had glass walls, everyone would be vegetarian. Anyway, so you say that, oh no, I'm not going to send you to that picnic. So next day the child comes back again and he says that, oh, my teacher is going to take me to another picnic. And you say, where are they going to take you? So the child says that they are going to take us to a harvesting place. Like the farmers are harvesting some grains, so they are going to show us how they do it. Will you allow your children to go there? Will you allow your children to play like that? It is already time, it is my fault, it is not theirs. It is my own karma.
Collective karma.
Collective karma. So you will allow, because you know that when the grains are getting harvested, at that time it is very, very joyous event. Because you know that the pain and suffering of the plants which are going through is not equivalent to the pain and suffering of the animals who are getting killed. The nervous system which is inside the plants is not yet developed, whereas in the animals or human beings it is much more developed. And because of that, the pain and suffering that you are causing is completely at different level. But it doesn't mean that when you are killing the plants, you are not accumulating karma or reactions. You accumulate reactions there as well. They are less than what you actually accumulate when you are killing plants. And that is why we don't recommend to become vegetarian as well. We are not saying that you eat non-vegetarian food. We are not even saying that you eat vegetarian food. What do we recommend?
Prashadam.
Eat only prasadam. So prasadam is different. Prasadam is different from which, of course, it is vegetarian, but it is offered to Krishna so that the reactions are taken away. And we'll discuss a little bit more about this concept next time that we are talking about this part 3 of Demystifying Karma, Destiny and Free Will.